Pirouettes, another foundational pole move that can be overlooked, that can be taught many different ways, and there are many different kinds of pirouettes. Today we're going to focus on the classic pirouette. First of all, it's a hard move to teach. It's a tricky move to teach students to make sure their hands are doing the right thing. There's a momentum piece to it. Feet are doing their own thing. There's so many things to think about. Today, I'm going to talk on what the feet should be doing, as well as cues to help you with the classic pirouette. How I break down pirouettes is first acknowledging that a pirouette is a pivot. What is a pivot? A pivot is when I stay in one place, but I pivot my feet around. You could pivot on one foot. You could pivot on both feet. You can pivot in or out. A pirouette is a form of a pivot, and that's probably why a lot of people tend to lose their balance, because it usually is a single leg pivot. We're going to start with what the hands need to be doing during this move. How I like to cue this. This is my left hand. I'm on the right side of my pole. What I'm going to do first is, as I take that step forward, I'm going to start to open up this palm. Nice and open. When I start to pivot on my toes, I'm going to start to bend my arm and start to have my palm face the floor. Why do I do the bend? Because if you don't do the bend, we're all too big-shouldered to be going through that. You see? You got such beautiful big shoulders. There's no way you're going to get through this. So make sure you bend. So as I take that step, I start to pivot. I open up that hand. I bend the elbow. Palm is high-fiving the ground. Thumb is nice and open. As I turn through that window, this is where everyone goes crazy. Let your thumb leave. Everyone gets their thumb caught like this. And I'm like, why are we doing that? Let your thumb leave. And you're rolling to your knuckles. So it's like, as I turn to knuckles here, right? What I will then do is I will push almost into my wrist in order to turn and catch. That wrist, it really gets into a nice spot where you just can rely on the pole without your hand like coming off and flipping all around, because I've seen that too. And it looks weird. So don't do that. Use the pole as your guide. Use your hand almost being obnoxious as a guide. So it's like I step, I open, I bend, I turn, push it a little bit into your wrist, and turn yourself around. Other side, I'm here. I take a step forward. I open up. I bend. I create that window. Let the thumb leave. You are high-fiving the back now, fully. I then slip a little bit down my hand to push into that nice little lip in my wrist and push and re-grab. That's it. That's what the hand does. That's all it does. Oftentimes the feet are overlooked. People just focus on the hand doing the weird thing, and then they barely even acknowledge what happens with the feet. What I oftentimes see students doing, please, don't do this. Honestly, if you have any lower back pain, this is probably making it worse. What that looks like is what I call that a foot-led pirouette, meaning I'll step, I'll turn, and I reach. Do you do that? Do you find yourself really reaching behind you when you do your pirouette? You do this sort of step, turn, step. Yeah, that hurts my back doing that. Don't do that. It's just room for disaster, essentially. You're sort of anticipating getting out of the pirouette so quickly that you're very well likely going to hurt yourself. What is going on with the legs? So what I think about doing is when I step, I also want to start to really drop into this hip. I call it C-shaping into the pole. So I'm C-shaping into the pole and I'm stepping forward. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shift my weight forward, pivot on both toes, and I'm going to start to lift my knee, push myself around, and step. So I call that a knee to chest pirouette. I take a step, I pivot on both my toes, and I sink. That's when I start to pull the knee, twist, and come around. More time. Take a step, turn, lift, take a step. I take a step, I pivot on both toes, I start to even maybe sink and transfer that cinch to the opposite side. I lift, I turn, and I step. This backhand, do not grab it. Don't grab it. Don't grab it. I know you want to. Don't do this. You will get into the habit of it, and you should be able to do a pirouette with only one hand. This should be a guide. So when I do this, typically I just want my hand, the back of my hand here. I step, I turn, push. Notice how I never grab it. Do the other side as well. Don't you dare skip this. Other side also. So if I'm on the right side of my pole, my right foot's going to come forward. It's always outside foot for this bad boy. I'm going to shift my weight forward, pivot on both my toes, sink and cinch into that right hip now. Knee to chest and step. Complete your turn fully. What often happens because of that foot-led pirouette is you turn here and then you already anticipate that you want to get out of it. Complete the move. I take a step, I turn, knee to chest, here. Not here. Not my foot back here, my foot, chest over here. How about a foot to butt combination of a pirouette? I'm going to go ahead, take a step, outside foot. I'm C-shaping already, right? C-shaping. Thighs are glued together. I'm shifting my weight. I'm bringing my foot to my butt, then knee to my chest, and then stepping through. Don't be afraid of a bend in your knees. A conscious choice of a bend is different than just bending without making the choice. Bends are not bad. Bending your knee is not a bad thing. Same thing other side. Outside leg, sinking into this hip, dropping the outside. Take a step, turn, foot to butt, knee to chest, and step. Knee to chest, and step. Take a step, knee to chest, step, foot to butt, knee to chest. That is your pirouette, the foundational pirouette. There are so many pirouettes. There's floor pirouettes, there's server pirouette, different hand pirouettes, but these are the basic variations I like to teach my students to really set the tone to be able to do the rest or any kind of pirouette. I hope this helped. I'll see you in the next one.